Welcome back to Industry Talk. Now, Joe Tarnowski continues his conversation with Stephanie Skylar, CEO of Chief Supermarkets.
Is there any role playing when you do in the courses of the training, like the customer experience, for example?
The new curriculum, which is called Customer Experience, that's going to have role playing. We've got these exercises that we're doing with the associates. Tell us your greatest customer experience. Tell us your nightmare customer experience. So it's not quite role playing, but they get to stand up in front of the group and talk about what bugs them and what's been really delightful with the customer.
Now, has anything surprising come out of your education classes?
Well, actually, yes. We have a course called Department Manager 101, and that is where we teach the basics of what the responsibilities are to be a department manager. And when they went to take the test, our existing department heads took the curriculum, and we found out that we have a lot of illiteracy in our company, yes. And it's very disturbing. And we're addressing it one-on-one because it's an uncomfortable subject. Yes. People keep this hidden, and they do a lot of workarounds. So
they must be very grateful for that.
I hope so. I hope so. But it's awkward, but we're very transparent in our company, and we will deal with it, and we'll help anybody who's open to get that help.
Now in your curriculum, how do you choose the courses that you're going to use?
We pick what's relevant at the times. I mean, we said we really need to roll this out to all associates. I thought it would be 2 or 3 years, Joe, before we got a chance to have the hourly associates take a course. So I thought it would take that long, but we're buzzing right through, and now we've got the Department Manager 101, the fresh food training for fresh food safety, and now the customer experience. So I'm hoping that every one of our associates by the end of this year will have taken at least a couple courses.
What are the challenges in putting together the courses?
Well, I think that the first thing that comes to mind for me is that since we didn't have formal training before and everyone was doing their own thing, we had to decide what was the best practices. So there was a little knocking heads going on with that. We brought together department heads, for instance, with produce. We had the guys that help us run our produce departments, you know, supervisors, get together with department heads, and then our director of fresh foods, and a few other extraneous folks, and we said, what do we do that's the best practice? Everyone seems to be doing their own thing. Well, that's not very efficient. So first was figuring that out before we even made a course about it.
And that probably led to a conflict resolution class.
Probably, yeah.
Who is the student, so to speak?
Well, the first tier of students, as I call them, the guinea pigs, were our store managers, because we knew that they'd go along with it no matter what. That's just what we're doing. We're rolling out Chief University. And so they were very appreciative, because the first thing they were exposed to were the policies and procedures, harassment issues, shoplifting issues, stuff that they use day to day in their lives, and it was a great refresher. So we gave them credit for that, stuff they already really knew. A lot of this is just establishing a baseline. Yes. Now our focus is on our hourly associates, and as I'd mentioned, we want to make sure that they all get through different levels of curriculum depending on what they're interested in or what department they work in.
What are the responses from the students?
So far, so good. You know, my biggest fear is I didn't want them to be bored or intimidated. And as far as a manual, gosh, I think they're in the back room gathering dust. When's the last time you opened a manual? I mean, it just seems really archaic. We should have the stuff documented, and then there's a lot of bureaucracy in having a company. You got to have all this stuff written down somewhere. I just assume they'd be able to go online and look it up if it ever comes up. But they learn by doing. You know, they learn for life. They're doing what they need to do.
And where do you see you taking this program in the future?
Well, we already have 2012 classes planned. So I think it's going to be a several-year process to get the curriculum developed. And then the real thing here is bench strength, because we need people, young people, to be interested in retail careers. And there's got to be something besides having a one-day orientation at store level. You get 5 hours of training or something, then you're off on your own. That's not what millennials want to know. They want to be active and involved in the business, and we need to give them hope and promise that there's something more to being in our crazy business with the long hours, 24/7, weekends. We have to come up with another way of looking at it, and we've got to develop bench strength. So the real beauty in Chief University going forward, the ROI, if you would, is having that bench strength and developing them into the future managers and leaders of our company.
What is your hope for this program?
Well, we call it not for school, but for life. And I'm hoping that our associates will have developed a skill set that will help them feel better about themselves, more confident at work, more confident in what's expected of them. Then they can do their job better and service the customer better. And though we don't have an ROI that's tied to a P&L right now, we do have the excitement of the associates going through the program, and we do have the hope, I do have the hope for the future that we'll have more bench strength and future leaders for our company.
Thank you for joining me for Industry Talk. I'm Joe Tarnowski.